नमस्कार दोस्तों, बहुत बहुत स्वागत, हार्दिक अभिनंदन। एक बार फिर मैं कृष्ण शर्मा HDFC म्यूचुअल फंड की तरफ से उपस्थित हूँ आपके साथ में बात करने के लिए बचत, निवेश और आप नारी विशेषांक वुमेन स्पेशल। आज मैं अत्यधिक उत्साहित हूँ दोस्तों, मेरे साथ एक अजीम शख्सियत, एक ऐसा काबिल फाइनेंशियल एक्सपर्ट मेरे साथ है जो कि पालघाट दक्षिण से है। जन्म गुजरात अहमदाबाद में हुआ, वो उनकी जन्मभूमि है और कर्मभूमि उनकी मुंबई है। तो आप समझ सकते हैं कि उनके पास पूरे हिंदुस्तान का अनुभव है। न केवल वो फाइनेंशियल एक्सपर्ट हैं, वित्त प्रबंधन में दक्ष हैं, म्यूचुअल फंड डिस्ट्रीब्यूटर हैं, पर हिंदुस्तान भर के जो फाइनेंशियल एक्सपर्ट्स हैं उनके मेंटर है। और इस कार्य को करने के लिए वो हिंदुस्तान भर में भ्रमण करती हैं। तो उनका अगाध अनुभव 30 वर्षों का हमारे लिए बहुत उपयोगी साबित हो सकता है और किस तरह से हमारे देश की महिलाएं एक बेहतर निवेशक बन सकती हैं, इसके लिए वो हमारी मदद कर सकती हैं। तो आइए हम उनसे आज बात करते हैं। बहुत बहुत स्वागत। आपका नाम है मिसेस रूपा वेंकटकृष्णन। नमस्कार मैडम, स्वागत आपका।
थैंक यू सो मच कृष्ण जी, थैंक यू।
गुड टू बी हियर मैडम। आप यहाँ पर आई उसके लिए बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया।
थैंक यू।
आपसे आपका जो एक्सपीरियंस है उसके आधार पर आई वुड लाइक टू नो मैम that why you feel for the women particularly. While talking with you, I felt that most of the women, although they are earning, they have become working person, but they are not managing their money on their own. Either they give this responsibility to their male member, either husband or father. तो ये क्या कारण है कि महिलाएं हेजिटेट करती हैं, संकोच करती हैं और वो कमा तो रही हैं, they are earning, but they are not managing their money. And why do you feel that they should manage their money on their own? What is it they will achieve by doing this? Because anyways, the other family member is managing their money.
So Krishanji, it's very important saying that if you are earning the money, then you also need to manage your money because it's your money.
Right.
You need to have that pride and dignity that the money that you're earning, you're managing. Secondly, what managing helps you is over a period of time, it gives you confidence to bring in that financial stability into your life because you know how you earn and how you spend. Now, if you look at women per se, irrespective of the fact that they come from a lower middle income group or a lower strata of society or to an affluent household, I have seen saying that most of the women don't manage the money. They give their responsibilities to the brother, husband, or the father. It's not that they cannot manage this money because inflation hits the women the first in the house.
Right.
Through the milk prices, through vegetable prices and everything. She exactly knows what was the cost of expense that she was doing 3 years back, 1 year back, what will be the expense after a few years. She is able to analyze that and she manages the household expenses, which is one of the basic financial management that we all learn. If she can manage the house, she can manage her own home. But what my experience says is, out of the 10 women, 8 women don't even share and discuss about money. We discuss about clothes, we discuss about food, we discuss about children's education, we discuss about which college to go, we discuss about everything apart from money.
Right.
There is an inhibitions. I think we all have to come out of that inhibitions and start talking and managing money.
Right.
Now, there would be a question, how do I manage? You need confidence, you need courage. I think most of us have to go to an expert.
Right.
And sit there and make us understand what are my long-term, short-term goals. What is that I desire after a few years? All of us are human beings. We are all desirers. We all are ambitious people. We dream big, we want to live better, eat better. That's an aspiration which all of us have.
Right.
And if you put those aspirations and sit with an expert, I think you can put down everything and plan your investment. Look at the irony. When we have to travel from, let's say, from Delhi to Trivandrum, all of us will go on the internet and find out which do we fly, do we go by train, do we go by bus, and if we have decided to go by a flight or by air, we will find out which airline. which is the cheapest, what time suits me.
Right.
We will do all that analysis. But when it comes to investment, we don't take that effort.
Right.
And if you look at the background in India, the first investment that all of us will only do when we have to save tax.
Right.
We don't do investment prudently, saying that what is it that I need when I retire? Because we don't have social security. We have to save for our retirement, we have to save for our medical corpus. That all of us know, because that's been discussed in the household. Our parents have to save for our retirement, our parents have to save for their medical needs, and we see it. But the first investment, which we always do forcibly, is to save tax.
Right.
And even for that, we don't take efforts to find out which is the prudent way to do that,
Right.
which is benefiting me, which in the long run will take care of that investment process. And as human beings, what we do is we are social people. We discuss among ourselves. We hear say, when somebody in the office says, such as tax saving ke liye kya hai, you put here, we go and put there. But all of us come from different backgrounds. All of us have different lifestyles. All of us have different commitments. So each of us investment process and the investment decision and the investment journey is going to be different.
Right.
It's not same for everyone. And that's where we need to go to an expert and understand what is our need and what is not our need.
Right.
And every woman I have met over my life across the globe in India, the first thing every woman wants is a security for herself,
Right.
for her children, and for the family.
Two things I collect from experience. Number one, you have an observation that women are more anxious towards security of the family, security of the self. So when you look anything towards security, slowly, unconsciously you become risk averse. And many people in society believe that women are risk averse. Point number one. And we in mutual funds, although in this modern world we say that mutual fund is sahi hai, but at the same time mutual fund has a tagline, mutual fund is subject to market risk. So how you convince them to look towards mutual fund, number one. Number two, you said that women are capable of investing, taking investment decisions, but they are not interested. Now, this thing is very challenging. If you're not interested in something, achieving success becomes very difficult. So how to overcome that? Number three, let us gain from your experience, the women audience of us who doesn't take investment decisions. When you advise them from your client experience, you have two sets of clients. One, a family where a woman doesn't take part into the investment decision or financial planning, or a family where the women take active participation in that. Does it make any difference to the success of the planning and the investment decisions there?
Sure.
There's three things if we can.
Sure. So the first thing when you said about security,
Yeah.
right? So the first security that she talks is financial security,
Right.
correct?
And we say that mutual
And
funds.
all of us say that, financial security, correct? Of course, the tagline is there saying that mutual funds are subject to market risk. We all understand that. What is the biggest risk, sir? The biggest risk is not sustaining your life, sustaining your purchasing power and moving on in life,
Certainly.
correct? We term risk and we take such decisions saying that the moment we are in a retirement process, we are not able to sustain ourselves. Because these days, people live 25 years after they retire.
Right.
Correct? I think the life expectancy has gone up. Women live more than the men. I think it's proven saying that women live more than the men. So if you look at all that and if you sit with the women and make them understand about long term, how do you invest in a long term and how you create your wealth, the best part of handling women's money is they are not greedy.
Okay.
Their expectation levels are fine.
Right.
And even if you handhold them and say that everything is fine and the expected rate of return is going to be in an equity anything between 12%, that the money will grow on a compounded basis.
Right.
They understand. They are not greedy that every 3 years they want the money to grow.
You mean to say that chances that women will do mistake is far less compared to men?
Yes, because they're very steady with their investment.
Right.
I'm not saying everyone, there are people who would like to have that speedy growth of money, but most of the women that I have understood, have handled, are very stable and they understand in the long term wealth is
Great.
created.
So in other
Their
words-
expectations of returns are not like, every 3 years I want to double my money.
Great. So in other words, they are temperamentally suitable for the mutual
Absolutely.
fund investments.
Absolutely. Very temperamental and they're very, very long term and they understand it.
Right.
And they don't get palpitation when the market moves up, market moves down. They will call
Oh,
you.
really? You feel that?
Yes, they call you. But if you speak to them and make them understand, they understand it. And the next time when the market is volatile, they will never call you.
Oh, great.
Correct? And the second question that you asked about saying that
They are not
Involvement-
interested. You said that they are
involvement
not
of women.
interested. Okay.
Yeah.
Although they are capable of doing
yeah,
it.
it's not, in most of the cases that I realize, it is not that they don't want to get involved.
Right.
But they give the chance to the men as a front runner, because we are in a society where the males have already handled the money.
Right.
But I have seen wherever and I always insist, when it comes to financial decision, both the husband and wife have to be a part of that financial making decision. Because at the end of it, both of them run the house. Both of them have the same of making their children grow. Both of them have the aspiration to have new homes, new dreams of travel, dreams of getting better lifestyle, better retirement, right? I think both of them have to work together.
Right.
And whenever you have involved them, I think the process of saving becomes more prudent. And every year, say for example, if it's an SIP mode of investment, I think every year the SIP moves up. You don't have to go back to the investor and tell them or push them. It's a process which gradually increases on their own, because they understand saying that if they don't do it, it's the survival issue for them.
Right.
And most of the women also, what I have realized is saying that they are forced to come and manage their money.
Right.
When they become widows, when there is a divorce, correct? Then they are pushed into the managing their own money, and it is very, very difficult for them, because they are emotionally in a bad space.
Right.
And they have to manage this whole thing.
Right.
And they don't know how to handle it. But if a person who's experienced earlier and then she gets into any of these situations, I think she's able to manage it much better.
Correct. So you mean to say that by that time it is too late to put the things in order?
Absolutely. It's a trauma.
It's a trauma. And madam, the third thing, that do you see the difference between the families where the woman is involved in the decision-making process and where they're aloof? Is there any difference in the performance of these two set of families?
Obviously, yes. Because what happens is, if you, like for example, if you tell a household saying that today you have a 25,000 rupees expense, and in 30 years you will have to, at a 6% inflation, you will have to have 1,61,000 to run the house, the woman of the house will say, yes, that's true.
Right.
But it takes time for the men to understand, because he doesn't spend it every month.
Right.
Correct, but she has done that. She has managed that home for the last few years, and she knows how the expenses are moved up, and how the expenses will move up as the children grow, as the education grows, as old age sets in. Correct? She's able to actually visualize that,
Right.
and it's there in the back of the mind, and she pushes that system into the whole family to save more.
Right.
And I have also seen saying that most of the women who get into this finance, they also bring their daughters into that discipline of bringing that financial stability.
Oh, great. Right. That's great. So you mean to say that in this modern world where the inflation interest rates have become very dynamic, RBI is taking decision every 2 months to change interest rates. Every change in interest rates impacts your investment, be it debt or be into equities. In such a dynamic world, women are more suitable temperamentally to manage money. One typical thing which I observed, that we all believe that women are good savers, but they prefer to invest in gold.
Yeah.
And we know that at the best, gold can work as insurance, but can't generate returns which can create wealth or can beat inflation. So how to make women understand that gold is not something where you should put money or invest money? And then equities, are they afraid of equities or they can accept equities easily?
So as I told you, Krishanji, saying that if you actually sit with a investor and make her understand, saying that what is the expectation, I'm not saying any of the asset class is bad, each of them has to be there.
Right.
Because I tell most of the women, you want to buy gold, wear it.
Right.
Enjoy it.
Right.
You
I
buy
can see
gold
that
to
you
enjoy
are wearing
it.
a lot.
Absolutely. You buy gold to enjoy it.
Right.
Correct? But if you want to hoard it, don't do it.
Don't do it.
Correct? When I said about purchasing power, I tell them saying that the purchasing power, the sustainability of purchasing power will only happen if you invest in equities.
Right.
And you're not investing your 100 rupees in your equities. You're just taking a 20 rupees or a 30 rupees
Right.
or a 40 rupees out of your whole investment basket
Right.
and putting it in the equity, which will create wealth over the next 15 to 20 years.
Right.
It's all about teaching people how to do it. It's not that you're putting 100% of your assets. So when you talk about risk is more important. Risk is saying that, are you able to sustain the purchasing power after you retire?
Right.
Are you able to have that purchasing power to educate your children? Are you saving rightly?
Right.
Everything in the shorter run is risky.
Right.
But in the longer run, I don't think that risk comes into perspective. Second important thing is expectation of return. Most of the failures in investment processes because of expectation of returns.
Absolutely.
I think if we bring down that expectation of return to a reasonable level and say that it's going to work out in the longer term, and I think it's a communication between the client and you as a person who manage their money.
Right.
How do you communicate and bring that on the table?
Well, one ticking bomb, that's retirement. Our life expectancy is rising continuously.
Yeah.
Most of the young in India perhaps will live beyond 100, at least live beyond 90. And you just suggested that most women outlive their better half,
Yeah.
right? Are they conscious towards retirement planning?
So, as I said, when it comes to security, yes, retirement planning is there with them, but they don't know how to reach it.
Right.
Most of the people at the age of 50 will start looking at retirement.
So you mean to say that whenever a financial expert or any financial advisor makes a financial planning for the family, women of the family is better to discuss about the retirement.
Absolutely.
Right?
Because
They will
see,
understand the need for the retirement. Right. Before we conclude, would you like to give a message to our audience, particularly women audience?
So my urge to every woman in this country would be saying that they should take the initiative and walk the path of getting into the decision-making process of financial inclusion, financial investment in the family. At the end of it, as a family, we all aspire and desire where the family goals are, in the way to buy a new home, where to send the children for education, which is the holiday. And if the decision is taken together when it comes to investment, I think the path becomes easier to achieve those financial goals.
Ms रूपा वेंकट कृष्णन विद अस। और दोस्तों, आपने सुना इनके आगाध अनुभव बोलता है इनका। हिंदुस्तान भर में भ्रमण करती है, हर जगह के फाइनेंशियल एक्सपर्ट से मिलती है, 30 साल का इनके पास अनुभव है। और आपने सुना कि उन्होंने क्या बातें हमसे कही। आज की आधुनिक हिंदुस्तान की नारी के लिए ज़रूरत है, इनका ये मानना है कि स्त्रियां, महिलाएं पुरुषों से बेहतर टेम्परामेंट रखती हैं इन्वेस्टमेंट के लिए। इस हिंदुस्तान में जो कि डायनामिक है, पूंजीवादी प्रकृति की तरफ अग्रसर है, जहां पर ब्याज दरें और महंगाई बार बार बदलती रहती हैं, ऐसे समय में अगर महिलाएं अपने घर के अंदर स्वयं पैसे का प्रबंधन करने में या इन्वेस्टमेंट डिसीजन का निर्णय लेती हैं तो परिवार बेहतर कार्य निष्पादन कर सकता है। रूपा जी से मिलकर बहुत अधिक प्रसन्नता हमें हुई है। उनका अनुभव से मैं जब शेयर कर रहा था तो उनमें इतना आत्मविश्वास था कि वो ये कह रही थी कि एज ए फाइनेंशियल एक्सपर्ट मैं एच को एडवाइस नहीं करती हूँ, एच की वेल्थ को मैनेज नहीं करती हूँ, मैं एच को क्रिएट करती हूँ। तो ऐसी शख्सियत दोस्तों आज हमारे साथ थी। मैडम, आपने हमें वक्त दिया, इसके लिए बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया।
थैंक यू सो मच।
दोस्तों, आप भी हमारे साथ रहे, आपने वक्त दिया, इसके लिए शुक्रिया। नमस्कार। जय हिंद।
Mutual fund investments are subject to market risks. Read all scheme-related documents carefully.